Welcome to Concrete Block, the podcast where we break down the latest news and current events into digestible chunks, without the spin or sensationalism. I'm your host, Walter, and we're glad you're joining us today. We're starting off with a look at some of the top stories from around the world. First up, we have the ongoing election saga in Hungary, where Prime Minister Viktor Orbán is predicting chaos if a pro-EU party wins the next election. Orbán, who has been in power since 2010, is facing what could be his toughest election yet, with the economy stagnating and inflation running high. According to reports, Orbán is warning that aligning Hungary more closely with the European Union would lead to catastrophic consequences, including chaos and poverty. On the other hand, his challenger, Peter Magyar, is promising to revive the economy by unlocking billions of euros in EU funds, stamping out corruption, and launching a wealth tax. Meanwhile, in Norway, the recent election has left Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Store's Labour Party needing to form a coalition government. The party is seen winning around 27% of the vote, but will need to negotiate with other parties, including the Greens and Communists, to pass legislation. This could lead to some interesting demands, including tougher restrictions on oil and gas exploration and more tax on the wealthy. It's worth noting that these stories are not just about politics, but also about the people and economies affected by these decisions. As we delve deeper into these topics, we'll be exploring the implications for individuals, businesses, and communities. We'll also be keeping an eye on other developments around the world, including the ongoing conflict in Ukraine and the latest news from the European Union. That's all for now. We'll be right back with more of today's top news on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're glad you're still with us as we dive into the latest news from around the world. Our next story takes us to Japan, where a significant development has occurred in the country's government. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba has announced his resignation less than a year after taking office. This decision comes following a historic defeat in July's parliamentary election, which saw Ishiba's ruling coalition fail to secure a majority in the upper house. The loss added to an earlier election defeat in the lower house, further shaking the stability of his government. Ishiba's resignation was not entirely unexpected, as he had faced growing calls from within his own party to take responsibility for the election losses. Despite initially resisting these demands, Ishiba ultimately decided to step down, citing the need to avoid a political vacuum and allow his party to move forward. The implications of Ishiba's resignation are significant, as Japan faces numerous challenges both domestically and internationally. The country is currently dealing with issues such as rising prices, rice policy reforms, and growing tension in the region. Additionally, Japan has been working to navigate its relationship with the United States, including recent negotiations on tariff rates. As the Liberal Democratic Party prepares to hold a leadership election to choose Ishiba's replacement, several candidates have emerged as potential successors. These include Agriculture Minister Shinjiro Koizumi, ultra-conservative former Economic Security Minister Sanae Takaichi, and Chief Cabinet Secretary Yoshimasa Hayashi. The next leader will face the significant challenge of working with opposition parties to pass legislation, given the party's lack of a majority in both houses. It's essential to note that the opposition parties are currently fragmented, making it difficult for them to form a coalition to topple the government. However, the new leader will still need to navigate these complexities to achieve their goals and maintain stability in the country. We'll be keeping a close eye on developments in Japan as the situation unfolds. For now, it's clear that Ishiba's resignation marks a significant shift in the country's political landscape. Stay tuned for our final story of the day, right here on Concrete Block. Welcome back to Concrete Block. We're closing out today's show with a story that's been making headlines around the world. You may have heard about the recent immigration raid at a Hyundai plant in Georgia, where hundreds of workers were detained by federal agents. The operation was part of a larger investigation into alleged unlawful employment practices and other federal crimes. According to reports, over 300 South Korean workers were among those detained, sparking concern and regret from the South Korean government. The country's officials quickly sprang into action, sending diplomats to the site and engaging in talks with U.S. authorities to secure the release of their citizens. And now, it appears that those efforts have paid off. the South Korean government has announced that it has finalized negotiations with the U.S. to release the detained workers, who will be brought back home on a charter plane once the necessary administrative steps are completed. This story raises important questions about immigration policies, worker rights, and international relations. While the U.S. government has been cracking down on undocumented immigration, countries like South Korea are advocating for the fair treatment of their citizens working abroad. It's worth noting that the Hyundai plant in Georgia is a significant economic development project for the state, and the raid has sparked concerns about the potential impact on the local economy. As this story continues to unfold, we'll be keeping a close eye on developments and bringing you updates as more information becomes available. In the meantime, we want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this story? Do you think the U.S. government is taking the right approach to immigration enforcement, or are there other solutions that should be explored? Let us know in the comments or on social media using the hashtag #XConcreteBlock. That's all for today's Concrete Block. Remember to like, share, and subscribe, and until next time, stay informed.